Are you experiencing stockouts, or you have serious issues with expired items in your inventory? If you are facing such challenges, today's video could be very useful for you. Good morning, good evening. My name is Kamal Rotela and I am a supply chain procurement professional with 20 plus years of experience. My passion lies in improving processes and helping make decisions. Before I get into explaining what a two-bin system is and share my experience, let me share the context. I was Director of Procurement for a hospital in California. My team had the responsibility to replenish multiple supply rooms within the hospital. These supply rooms were equipped with medical surgical items like gauges, needles, syringes, IVs, etc. A warehouse specialist from my team was responsible for reviewing inventory in these supply rooms daily, once in morning and once in evening. He would identify the items that are stocked out or low in count. Then he would replenish these items from a warehouse that was attached to the hospital. When I joined hospital as the Director of the Procurement, I was told that there was an audit sometime back in the hospital, and auditors find few expired items on the shelves during a random check. Now this was a big issue in a hospital setting, and as the Director of Procurement I was supposed to fix this once for all. I initially thought that the expired items issue was a training issue, and we trained the warehouse specialist replenishing the supply rooms on the criticality of not having any expired items on the shelves. We also trained him on how to replenish items, how to keep the fresh stock at the bottom and the old stock at the top. So we did all that, but did it solve the problem? No. Actually, in some random checks, we found some expired items. Every time it was in a different locations, the frequency was low, but the problem still persisted. One day I decided to shadow the warehouse specialist that used to replenish the supply rooms. As he replenished items, I watched over his shoulder and soon realized that the process we had in place wasn't sufficient to keep the problem from occurring again and again. That is when I thought of the two-bin process that we had studied about in our MBA class. In this two-bin process, we replaced the existing bins with two bins, one in the front and one in the back. We had these bins, transparent bins. So the way the two-bin system worked, the nurses would pick the items from the front bin until it became empty. Once the front bin would become empty, it would be pushed in the back, and the back bin, which is full of the items, would be brought in the front. And that is how the system worked. The warehouse specialist during periodic reviews would look for the empty bins in the back and would fill these empty back bins with fresh inventory. Since the fresh items would go in the back and the old items would stay in the front, it ensured that the old items would get consumed first before the fresh items would start getting consumed. And that was the crux in solving this problem of expired items. The two-bin process worked very seamlessly in keeping the expired items off the shelf. It didn't work with the items that would use occasionally, such as items in the crash cart. The items there would be used once in a year if there was a need. Otherwise, they would just sit there. So for such items, we started doing a periodic review every month, and any near expiry items would be replaced immediately. After putting this new two-bin process in place, we pretty much got rid of the problem of expired items. We still continued doing some random surprise checks on the supply rooms. I did that, the other hospital leaders participated as well, and we couldn't find expired items after putting this process in place. So I was very pleased with it, and as well as the hospital management was very pleased with it, and of course the quality director was elated about it. Some additional thoughts on this topic. With respect to the cost, there is definitely an upfront cost involved. If you are switching from one bin system to two bin system, you would have to or replace each bin with smaller size bins, and that is due to the constraint on the shelf space. So each bin will be replaced by two bins, one in the front or one in the back, or one on top of the another. That is another possibility of implementing it that way. The change management aspect was super easy. It was very easy to bring leadership on board because the upfront cost wasn't too bad, and the benefits were really promising. The nursing staff, that was the main stakeholder that would pick items from these supply rooms, and it was very natural for them to pick items from either from the front bin or from the top bin. So that wasn't too difficult. We ran few trainings for a few weeks so that we could cover every nurse in every shift. And if you're wondering about the workload for the warehouse specialist responsible for replenishing the items, let me tell you, it became so much easier for him to do his job. I explained to you why. So before the two bin system, his mornings and afternoon rounds would look something like this. He would go to the supply rooms, each of the supply rooms, and he would look into each of the bins and try to see which were stocked out or were close to being stocked out. He would take notes of those, make an estimate of how many items he need to put in those bins, bring that estimate back to the warehouse, get those items issued, carry those to the supply rooms, replenish the bins, and that was it, right? So in summary, the two bin process is a great solution if you are experiencing stockouts or experiencing expired items on your shelves and it is a big issue in your industry. It is super easy to implement. The upfront cost is not too terrible. The ongoing benefits are excellent, and change management it requires minimal effort. So it is I would say a very win-win proposal to switch from regular inventory management. After watching this video, if you like the idea, I would encourage you to implement this two bin system in your warehouse, in your organization, wherever you're working. If you have any queries, any doubts, I would be happy to respond to your queries if it helps. Also, in my next YouTube video, I am going to talk about barcoding, how barcoding can help make your warehouse and supply room processes much more efficient. So if you want to get that video, don't forget to subscribe and you will get a notification if you do so. Thank you for being with me till now in this video. Appreciate your patience. Have a good day. Bye.